I still remember the exact moment I realized something was terribly wrong. It wasn't a loud moment. No shouting, no broken glass. Nothing dramatic like that. It was quiet. Too quiet. I was standing in my kitchen, holding a cup of tea I hadn't even tasted yet, staring at my front door, which was slightly open. And I knew, without a doubt, I had locked it. Before I continue, take a second to like this video and comment where you're watching from. My name is Margaret. I'm 67 years old, and I've lived in the same small house for over 30 years. It's not fancy, but it's mine. Or at least, I thought it was. After my husband passed away 5 years ago, everything in my life slowed down. The house got quieter. The days got longer. And the nights, well, the nights were the hardest. That kind of silence. It does something to you. It makes you miss even the smallest things. The sound of someone walking in the hallway. A voice calling your name. Even the arguments you once wished would stop. All of it gone. That's when she came into my life. Linda. She moved in next door about 3 years ago. First, she was just another neighbor. Polite. Distant. The kind of person you wave at but never really talk to. But one afternoon everything changed. I had slipped in the backyard. It wasn't anything serious, but I couldn't get up right away. My knee had given out and I was just stuck there. Alone. And then she appeared. "Are you okay?" she asked, rushing toward me. Her voice was warm, concerned, genuine. She helped me up, guided me inside, and even made me tea. We talked for hours that day. About life. About loss. About the little things people usually don't notice. From that day on, she became part of my life. She started coming over almost every day. Sometimes with groceries. Sometimes with food she cooked herself. Sometimes just to sit and talk. "You shouldn't be alone all the time," she would say. And honestly, she was right. Slowly I began to trust her. Not just as a neighbor, but as family. She knew everything about me. My routines, my habits, my memories, even the things I hadn't told anyone in years. And I never thought twice about it. Because when you're alone for so long, and someone finally shows you kindness, you don't question it. You hold on to it. One evening she said something that stayed with me. "You know, Margaret, if you ever need anything at all, I'm right here." Smiled. "I know," I said. And I meant it. Looking back now, that was the moment I should have been careful. But I wasn't. Weeks turned into months. Months into years. And Linda became more than just a neighbor. She had a key to my house. She helped me with my bills. She even drove me to doctor appointments. "I don't know what I'd do without you," I told her once. She smiled. "Oh, you'd be just fine," she said. But there was something about the way she said it. Something I didn't understand back then. And then, little things started happening. First, I thought I was just being forgetful. I'd misplace my glasses. Find things moved from where I left them. Sometimes, I'd open a drawer and feel like something was missing. But I couldn't quite remember what. "You're just tired," Linda would say gently. "It happens at our age." And I believed her. 'Cause honestly, made sense. But then one morning, I checked my bank account. I don't know what made me do it. Maybe it was just instinct. Or maybe some part of me already knew. There was a withdrawal. Large one. Far larger than anything I had taken out. My hands started shaking. No, this can't be right. Checked again. And again. But it didn't change. $5,000. I sat there in silence, trying to make sense of it. Maybe it was a mistake. Maybe the bank messed up. But deep down, I felt something I didn't want to admit. That same afternoon Linda came over like always. Cheerful. Relaxed. Like nothing was wrong. "You look pale," she said. "Are you okay?" I hesitated. Then I said it. "I checked my bank account today." For a split second, her expression changed. Just slightly. But I saw it. What about it? She asked. Her voice was calm. Come. There's money missing, I said. She tilted her head slightly. Missing? Yes, $5,000. There was a pause. Just a second. But it felt longer. Then she smiled. Oh, Margaret, you probably forgot. Maybe a bill. Or a transfer. I shook my head. No. I would remember that. She stepped closer. Put her hand gently on my shoulder. You've been under a lot of stress, she said softly. Sometimes our memory plays tricks on us. Those words, they should have comforted me. But instead, they made something inside me feel uneasy. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about it, replaying everything in my head. And then, I remembered something. A few weeks ago, Linda had asked me about my bank. Just in case of emergencies, she said. I should know how to help you if something ever happens. The time felt caring, thoughtful, felt different. The next morning, I went back to the bank. In person, the teller pulled up my account. And what she told me next made my heart stop. Ma'am, this withdrawal was made in person, she said. I frowned. That's not possible. I didn't come here. She looked at the screen again, then back at me. Yes, she said slowly. You did. My breath caught. No, I didn't. She hesitated, then said something that changed everything. You weren't alone. My entire body went cold. Security cameras recorded it, she added. There was someone with you. My voice barely came out. Who? She looked at the screen again, then at me, and said, It was your neighbor, Linda. In that moment, everything inside me shattered. But what I didn't know yet was that this was only the beginning. Because what she had done behind my back was far worse than stealing money. And I was about to find out. My ears started ringing. I couldn't hear anything else the teller was saying. Just one word, over and over in my head. Linda. That's not possible, I said, my voice barely holding together. The teller gave me a careful look. Ma'am, we can review the footage if you'd like. I nodded immediately. Yes, please. A few minutes later, I was sitting in a small office at the back of the bank. Cold. Quiet. The kind of room where bad news always seems to happen. The screen flickered on. Black and white footage. Grainy. But clear enough. And then, there I was. Walking into the bank. My heart skipped. That's me, I whispered. But something felt off. I was moving slower than usual. Almost hesitant. Like I didn't fully know what I was doing. And then, she walked in beside me. Linda. My stomach dropped. There was no doubt. It was her. Standing next to me like she belonged there. Like she had every right. She told me to come, I heard myself say on the footage. My voice sounded strange, distant. The teller in the video nodded and processed the transaction. Linda stood slightly behind me, watching. Then, just before I signed the papers, Linda leaned in, close to my ear, and whispered something. I couldn't hear it, but I saw it. And then, sign. My hands started shaking. I don't remember this, I said quickly. I swear I don't remember any of this. The teller sitting beside me nodded gently. It's okay, she said. We're here to help. But I didn't feel okay. Not even close. Because now it wasn't just about missing money. It was about control. She brought you in, the teller said. And she spoke for you most of the time. That hit me hard. She spoke for me. Yes. Yes, she said. She said you weren't feeling well and asked if she could assist. My chest tightened. I remembered that day now. Just a little. I'd felt dizzy that morning. Weak. Like my head was heavy. Do you remember feeling unwell? The teller asked. I nodded slowly. Yes. And suddenly, everything started to connect. That morning, Linda had brought me tea, like she always did. "You look tired," she had said. "Drink this, it'll help." I trusted her, so I drank it, without thinking. A cold realization crept in. "What if," I whispered. "What if I wasn't just tired?" The teller looked at me concerned. "What do you mean?" I swallowed hard. "What if she gave me something?" Silence filled the room. "That's a serious concern," the teller said carefully. "You should report this." Report it. The word echoed in my mind, but fear followed right behind it. Linda had a key to my house. She knew everything. My routine. My life. What if she did something worse? "I need to go," I said suddenly, standing up. "Ma'am, we can help you file a report." "I know," I said quickly. I need to go." I walked out of the bank, my heart racing. The world outside felt different now. Colder. Unfamiliar. Every face I saw felt suspicious. When I got home, I stopped at the door. For the first time in years, I hesitated to go inside my own house. What if she was there? I slowly pushed the door open. "Hello," called out. No answer. The house was quiet, exactly how I left it. But it didn't feel the same. I walked in slowly, every step cautious, and then I saw it. On the kitchen counter. Cup of tea. Fresh. Still warm. My heart dropped. I hadn't made it. Which meant she had been there. Recently. "Linda," I whispered. Suddenly. Heard something. Faint sound. From upstairs. My blood ran cold. She was still here. My first instinct was to run. And get out. Call someone. But my feet didn't move. I don't know why. Maybe I needed answers. Maybe I was still in shock. Or maybe I just couldn't believe it. "Linda," I called out again. The sound stopped. Silence. Heavy, uncomfortable silence. And slow footsteps coming from upstairs. My heart started pounding harder, each step louder than the last. And then she appeared at the top of the stairs. Relaxed, like nothing was wrong. "Oh, you're back early," she said casually. I just stared at her, unable to speak. She walked down slowly, step by step. "What's wrong?" she asked, tilting her head. My hands clenched. "You took me to the bank," I said. She stopped, just for a second, then smiled. "Oh, that." But, like it meant nothing. "You took my money," I said, my voice shaking. Her smile faded slightly, but not completely. "You agreed to it," she said calmly. My chest tightened. "I don't remember it." I shrugged. "That's not my fault." Those words hit me like a slap. "You tricked me," I said. "You gave me something. Didn't you?" Her eyes narrowed slightly, but she didn't deny it. "You needed help," she said instead. "I was helping you. By stealing from me." Snap. She sighed. Like I was the one being unreasonable. "You have more than enough," she said. "You don't even use it." My heart broke a little more. "That's my money," I said quietly. She stepped closer. Too close. "And I've been taking care of you for years," she said. "Don't act like I haven't done anything for you." I felt trapped, like the walls were closing in. "I trusted you," I whispered. For a moment, her expression changed. Just a little. Then it disappeared. "Maybe that was your mistake," she said. Silence. A heavy silence. I didn't recognize her anymore. The woman standing in front of me wasn't the same person who helped me in the backyard. This was someone else. Someone cold and dangerous. "I'm going to the police," I said. Her eyes locked onto mine. Sharp. Focused. "No," she said firmly. My heart skipped. "You don't want to do that," she added. "And why not?" Yes. She stepped even closer, her voice dropping to a whisper. "Because if you do..." I paused. "Things will get very complicated for you." A chill ran down my spine. What does that mean? Yes. She smiled again. But this time, it wasn't friendly. It was something else. Something darker. It means, she said softly, I know more about you than you think. My breath caught. And if I go down, she continued, I won't go alone. In that moment, I realized something terrifying. This wasn't just theft. This was something much bigger. And I was already in it. Deeper than I ever imagined. I couldn't move. Her words just hung there in the air. I won't go down alone. For a moment I forgot how to breathe. What are you talking about? Finally managed to say. Linda didn't answer right away. She just stood there watching me. Studying me. Like she was deciding how much to reveal. And how much to keep hidden. You've lived a long life, Margaret, she said slowly. Long enough to make mistakes. My stomach twisted. I haven't done anything, I said, but my voice didn't sound as confident as I wanted it to. She let out a small laugh. Cold. Haven't you? She asked. I shook my head. I don't know what you think you know, but... Oh, I know a lot, she cut in. More than you realize. My heart started pounding again. Not just from fear, but from confusion. What are you talking about? I repeated. She stepped past me and casually sat down at the kitchen table. Like she owned the place. You really don't remember, do you? She said. Remember what? Yes. She leaned back in the chair, crossing her arms. Your son. My breath caught instantly. What about him? I said, my voice barely above a whisper. She watched my reaction closely. And for the first time, I saw something shift in her expression. Not kindness. Not concern. Power. You haven't spoken to him in years, right? She said. I didn't answer. 'Cause she was right. Had been what? 7 years. Maybe more. You told me he stopped calling, she continued. That he just disappeared from your life. I nodded slowly. That's true. She tilted her head. Is it? Something inside me tightened. What are you trying to say? She leaned forward slightly. Are you sure he's the one who walked away? My chest felt heavy. That's exactly what happened, I said firmly. But even as I said it, a strange feeling crept in. Linda noticed. Course she did. You told me a lot of things, Margaret, she said softly. Over the years. You shared everything with me. I swallowed hard. Yes, because I trusted you. She smiled faintly. And that's exactly why I know things you've chosen to forget. My heart skipped. What do you mean, chosen to forget? She didn't answer directly. Instead, she stood up and walked toward the living room. Come with me, she said. I hesitated. Every instinct told me not to follow her. But something stronger pulled me forward. Followed. She stopped in front of an old cabinet. One I hadn't opened in years. What are you doing? Asked. She didn't respond. Just opened it. Inside were old photo albums. Documents. Memories I hadn't touched in a long time. She pulled one out. Slowly. Let's take a look at your past, she said. I don't want to, I started. But she opened the album anyway. The first few pages were normal. Family pictures. Birthdays. Holidays. There he was. My son. Smiling. Laughing. For a moment, my heart softened. But then Linda flipped a few pages ahead. Faster this time. Until she stopped. My breath caught. It was a photo I didn't like looking at. My son, standing at the door. A suitcase in his hand. His face. Angry. Me. Standing across from him. I looked different. Colder. You remember this? Linda asked quietly. I didn't answer. 'Cause I did. But I didn't want to. It was just an argument, I said quickly. Linda raised an eyebrow. An argument? She reached into the cabinet again and pulled out something else. Piece of paper. Folded. Worn. My heart started racing. What is that? Asked. She unfolded it slowly, then handed it to me. My hands trembled as I took it. And then I saw it. Letter. Written in my son's handwriting. I hadn't seen it in years. Read it, Linda said. I don't need to. Read it, she repeated. My throat went dry. But I did. Mom, I don't know how to fix this anymore. I've tried. I really have. But you don't listen. You don't trust me. You think I'm always trying to take something from you. I can't live like this. I'm leaving. Not because I want to, but because I have to. I hope one day you understand. I still love you. Daniel. My vision blurred. I couldn't speak. Linda watched me carefully. You told me he abandoned you, she said. I shook my head weakly. He left. Yes, she said. He left. Then she leaned closer. But why did he leave, Margaret? Tears filled my eyes. I don't remember it like this, I whispered. Linda's voice softened. But it wasn't kind. Of course you don't, she said. It's easier that way. I looked at her, my heart breaking in ways I didn't expect. You think I deserved this? Yes. She didn't hesitate. I think, she said slowly, you're not as innocent as you pretend to be. The words cut deep. But what hurt even more was the small part of me that wasn't sure she was wrong. Silence filled the room again. And then she said something that made everything worse. You see, Margaret, she continued, I didn't just take your money. My heart dropped. I've been watching you for a long time. A chill ran down my spine. Learning your habits. Your patterns. Her voice was calm. Come. And I realized something. Could barely breathe. You're alone, she said. The word echoed in my head. And no one is coming to save you. My legs felt weak. This house, your money, your life. I paused. It's all very easy to take. I stared at her in horror. You planned this, I whispered. She smiled slightly. Not at first, she admitted. But over time. Her eyes locked onto mine. It just made sense. My heart shattered. Because in that moment, I understood something terrifying. This wasn't just betrayal. This was calculated, low, intentional, and I had walked right into it. I felt like the ground beneath me had disappeared. Everything I thought I knew, everything I believed about my life was starting to crack. And the worst part, I didn't know what was real anymore. You planned this, I repeated, my voice barely steady. Linda didn't deny it. She didn't even look guilty. She just stood there. Calm, almost relaxed. Like this was all just another normal conversation. I adapted, she said simply. At first, I really did want to help you. Something in my chest tightened. At first? Yes. She nodded slightly. You were alone. Vulnerable. I felt bad for you. Her words felt like a knife. But then I started noticing things, she continued. The way you forgot small details. The way you depended on me more and more. I shook my head. That's not. It is, she cut in. And you know it. I opened my mouth to argue, but nothing came out. 'Cause deep down, did know. After my husband died, I had changed. Became more forgetful. More dependent. More fragile. And Linda had been there through all of it. Not as a stranger. Not even as just a neighbor. But as someone I trusted. Completely. I let you in, I whispered. She gave a small smile. Yes, you did. Silence filled the room again. Heavy. Uncomfortable. And once I was in, she continued quietly. It was easy. My heart sank. Easy to what? Asked. She walked slowly around the room, her fingers lightly brushing against the furniture, like she was already claiming it. Easy to manage things, she said. Your bills, your appointments, your routine. Then she stopped and looked directly at me. And eventually, your money. Felt sick. You manipulated me, I said. I shrugged. I guided you. That's not the same thing. It depends on how you look at it, she replied calmly. My hands clenched. You drugged me, I said. For the first time. She didn't respond immediately. Her silence said enough. What did you give me? I asked, my voice shaking. She sighed softly. Nothing dangerous, she said. Just something to relax you. My stomach turned. You had no right. I had every opportunity, she interrupted. And you gave it to me. Her words were cold, calculated, and worst of all, they were partially true. Because I had trusted her blindly. You think this is okay? Yes. She tilted her head. I think this is reality. I stared at her. You're alone, Margaret, she continued. You don't have anyone checking in on you. Each word felt heavier than the last. No one questioning what's happening. My chest tightened. No one who would even notice if something changed. I felt like I couldn't breathe. And that makes people like you. She paused. Easy targets. The word hit me hard. Target. That's what I was to her. Not a neighbor. Not a friend. Just a target. Tears filled my eyes. I trusted you like family, I said. She looked at me for a moment. And for a split second, something flickered in her expression. But it was gone just as quickly. That was your mistake, she said quietly. Silence. I didn't recognize my own home anymore. It felt like I was standing in a stranger's house, talking to a stranger. But the truth was worse. This wasn't a stranger. This was someone who knew everything about me. And used it against me. I'm calling the police, I said again. This time my voice was firmer. Linda didn't panic. She didn't raise her voice. She just looked at me. You can try, she said calmly. My heart skipped. What does that mean? Yes. She walked back toward the table. Slowly. Then she picked up something from it. My phone. My stomach dropped. I changed your passcode, she said casually. What? I rushed forward. She stepped back slightly, holding it away from me. You've been forgetting things, remember? She said. I told you I'd help manage your phone too. My hands trembled. You can't do this, I said. She raised an eyebrow. I already did. I felt trapped. Completely trapped. No phone. No access to your accounts, she continued. Then her voice lowered slightly. And no one who would believe you over me. A chill ran down my spine. What are you talking about? Yes. She gave a small, knowing smile. I've been helping you for years, she said. Everyone knows that. My heart sank. Your doctor, your neighbors. Even the bank staff. I paused. They all see me as the one taking care of you. My breath caught. And you, she added softly. You're just the confused old woman. The words hit me harder than anything else. Because I realized. She wasn't just stealing from me. She was replacing me. Taking control of my life. Rewriting how the world saw me. I'm not confused, I said, but my voice shook. She smiled gently. Almost kindly. Of course you're not, she said. But her eyes said something else. Something terrifying. You're just forgetting things. I felt my reality slipping. And for the first time in my life, I didn't know if I could trust my own mind. I stood there staring at her. And for the first time in my life I felt completely powerless. Not just scared. Not just hurt. But erased. You're lying, I said, but my voice sounded weak even to me. Linda tilted her head slightly, almost like she pitied me. Am I? She asked. I took a step back. I'm not confused. I know what you did. I remember the bank. I remember. Do you? She interrupted softly. That one question shook me. Because the truth was, I didn't remember everything. Pieces were missing. Moments blurred together. And she knew it. That's the problem, Margaret, she said calmly. You think you remember. My chest tightened. But you don't remember clearly, she continued. And that's where things get complicated. I shook my head. No. No, you're just trying to mess with me. She didn't argue. Didn't raise her voice. She just walked over to the couch and sat down like she had all the time in the world. You can believe whatever you want, she said. But the truth doesn't change. Silence filled the room again. I looked around my own house. My pictures. My furniture. My memories. And for a terrifying moment, it all felt unfamiliar. What do you want? Asked finally. She looked at me. Really looked at me. Stability, she said. I frowned. What does that even mean? She leaned forward slightly. It means things stay the way they are. My stomach turned. You keep trusting me, she continued. You let me handle things. Her voice dropped just a little. And everything stays peaceful. Felt sick. And if I don't? Yes. She smiled. But there was no warmth in it. Then things get messy. My heart started racing again. Messy how? Asked carefully. She didn't answer right away. Instead, she stood up and walked toward the hallway. Come with me, she said. I hesitated. Again. But something in me needed to know. So I followed. She stopped in front of a small drawer near the hallway table. One I rarely used. What are you doing? Asked. She opened it slowly. Inside were papers. Documents. My stomach dropped. What is this? I whispered. He pulled out a folder. Then handed it to me. My hands trembled as I opened it. And then I saw it. Name. On multiple documents. Legal documents. What is this? I asked again, my voice shaking. Just things we've been working on, she said casually. We. Snap. I never agreed to any of this. She raised an eyebrow. Are you sure? I flipped through the pages faster. There were signatures. My signatures. On every page. No, I whispered. No, I didn't sign this. But the handwriting looked like mine. You did, she said calmly. You just don't remember. My heart felt like it was going to explode. What did I sign? I asked, panic rising in my voice. She watched me closely, then said the words that changed everything. Power of attorney. The world around me went silent. What? Breathe. You gave me control, she said simply. Over your finances, your decisions, everything. No. I shook my head violently. No, I would never do that. She stepped closer. You already did. My hands started shaking uncontrollably. This isn't real, I whispered. But it is, she said. And it's legal. I felt like I couldn't stand anymore. You tricked me, I said. You forced me. I didn't force anything, she interrupted. You signed willingly. I wasn't in my right mind. Shouted. For the first time. Her expression hardened. That's not something you can prove, she said coldly. The words hit me like a wall. And even if you tried, she added, who do you think they'll believe? I stared at her, my heart breaking all over again. The woman who's been taking care of you for years, she continued. Or the elderly woman who suddenly claims she was tricked. I felt my strength slipping away. 'Cause deep down, I knew the answer. They'll think I'm confused, I whispered. She didn't say anything. She didn't have to. Already knew. Tears streamed down my face. This is my life, I said. My home, my money. She looked at me with something close to indifference. And now, she said quietly, it's mine to manage. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Everything I had built. Everything I had saved. Not because I gave it away, but because I trusted the wrong person. And the worst part, I had signed it all away myself. My hands wouldn't stop shaking. I kept staring at those papers like they might suddenly change. Like maybe I'd read them wrong. But they didn't. Every page said the same thing. Power of attorney. Name. My signature. This isn't real, I whispered again. Linda sighed softly, like she was getting tired of repeating herself. It is real, Margaret. I looked up at her, tears blurring my vision. You took everything from me. She shook her head slightly. No, she said calmly. You gave it to me. That sentence, it broke something inside me. I trusted you, I said. And that's exactly why this worked, she replied without hesitation. Silence filled the room again. But this time, felt heavier, felt smaller, weaker, like I had already lost. But then, something inside me shifted, just slightly, because beneath the fear, beneath the confusion, there was something else. Question. If she had everything, if she had already won, then why was she still here? Why hadn't she just taken it all and left? I wiped my tears slowly, trying to steady myself. What do you want from me now? I asked quietly. Linda watched me carefully, like she was measuring my reaction. I told you, she said. I want things to stay the same. That's not possible, I said. It is, she replied. If you cooperate. My stomach turned. And if I don't? Her expression changed again. Subtle, but colder. Then things get difficult, she said. I nodded slowly. But this time, I didn't respond right away. Because something about her answer didn't feel complete. Like she wasn't telling me everything. You said you've been watching me, I said. She didn't deny it. You said I'm alone, I continued. Still no denial. So tell me something, I said, my voice steadier now. If I'm so easy to take advantage of. I looked directly into her eyes. Why haven't you finished it? For the first time. She hesitated. Just for a second. But I saw it. And that was enough. 'Cause it meant one thing. She wasn't as in control as she wanted me to believe. What do you mean? She asked. I took a slow breath. If you have my money, my control, everything. I stepped closer. Then why are you still here? The room went quiet. She didn't answer. Instead, she smiled. But this time, it didn't feel confident. It felt forced. You're overthinking things, she said. No, I said softly. I'm finally thinking clearly. Her eyes narrowed slightly. You need me, she said. That caught me off guard. What? You can't manage on your own anymore, she continued. You forget things. You get confused. I shook my head. Or maybe, I said slowly. You need me. Silence. Her jaw tightened just slightly. And there it was again. That crack. That small weakness she didn't want me to see. Don't be ridiculous, she said. But her voice, it wasn't as calm as before. You've been here every day, I continued. You didn't just take things and leave. I stepped closer. You stayed. She didn't move. Why? Yes. This time. She didn't answer immediately. And that silence told me everything I needed to know. 'Cause people like her, people who plan, people who manipulate, they don't hesitate. Ugh. There's something they're hiding. You're not done, I said quietly. Her eyes locked onto mine. You're still working on something. Long pause. Then she exhaled slowly. You're smarter than I thought, she said. That wasn't a compliment. It was a warning. What are you planning? Asked. She looked at me for a long moment. Then finally said. The house. My heart dropped. What about it? She tilted her head slightly. You don't really need it anymore, she said. I felt a chill run through my body. What are you saying? Asked. Her voice softened again, almost gentle. "I've been looking into options," she said. "Selling it, transferring ownership." "No," I said immediately. She raised an eyebrow. "You don't get to decide that anymore," she replied calmly. My chest tightened. "That's my home," I said. "And I have legal authority over it," she said. The words hit hard. "But I haven't moved forward yet," she added. Froze. "Why not?" I asked. And there it was again. That hesitation. That tiny crack in her control. She looked at me. Really looked at me. And for the first time, I saw something I hadn't seen before. Not confidence. Not manipulation. But uncertainty. "I'm waiting," she said slowly. "For what?" Her eyes didn't leave mine. "For the right moment." My heart started pounding again. 'Cause suddenly, everything became clear. She hadn't finished. Not yet. But she was close. And if I didn't do something, I was going to lose everything. Not just my money. Not just my control. But my home. My life. And maybe even my freedom. The word house kept echoing in my mind long after she said it. Not just a building. Not just walls and a roof. It was my life. Every memory. Every moment. Every piece of me was inside this place. And now, she wanted that too. "No," I said again, this time firmer. "You're not taking my house." Linda didn't argue. She didn't raise her voice. She just looked at me, calmly. "You don't really have a choice," she said. My heart pounded harder. "There's always a choice," I replied. She gave a small, almost amused smile. "Not in your situation," she said. That word again. Situation. Like I was some kind of problem to manage. "I'm not signing anything else," I said. "You don't have to," she replied. That made my stomach drop. "What does that mean?" I asked. She walked slowly toward the window, glancing outside like nothing in the world bothered her. "It means I already have what I need," she said. My breath caught. "No," I whispered. She turned back toward me. "With the power of attorney, I can make decisions for you," she said. "Financial decisions." Felt dizzy. "That includes the house." Everything inside me went cold. "You can't just sell it without me knowing," I said. She raised an eyebrow. "Who's going to stop me?" I didn't have an answer. Because that was the terrifying truth. No one. Unless I found a way. "You said you're waiting," I said slowly. She nodded. "For the right moment." "Yes." I took a deep breath. "And what is the right moment?" She studied me for a second, then said something that made my blood run cold. "When it becomes clear that you can't take care of yourself anymore." My heart dropped. "What are you saying?" I asked. She stepped closer. "I'm saying," she continued, "that if people believe you're not mentally stable." I paused. "Then everything becomes much easier." A chill ran down my spine. "You're trying to make me look crazy," I whispered. She didn't deny it. She didn't even flinch. "I'm trying to help you," she said again. "No," I said, shaking my head. "No, you're setting me up." She smiled faintly. "Call it whatever you want." My mind started racing. Every small thing suddenly made sense. The way she corrected me in front of others. The way she spoke for me. The way she'd say things like, "She forgets sometimes." She was building a story. A version of me that wasn't real. And slowly, she was making people believe it. "I won't let you do this," I said. She stepped closer. Closer than before. "You already have," she whispered. My breath caught. Then she pulled back slightly and looked at me. Calmly again. "You should rest," she said. "You've had a long day." The way she said it. Like she was dismissing me. Like I didn't matter. "I'm not tired," I said. "You look tired," she replied. "I'm not," I snapped. She tilted her head. "See," she said softly. You're getting agitated. My heart skipped. That's not. It's okay, she interrupted. It happens. Froze. She was doing it again, twisting everything, turning my reactions into proof. You're doing this on purpose, I said quietly. She didn't respond. She just walked past me, toward the kitchen. I'll make you some tea, she said. My entire body tensed. No. She stopped, slowly turned around. What? She asked. I don't want anything from you, I said. There was a pause. An small smile. That's new, she said. I didn't respond. 'Cause now, I understood something I hadn't before. The dizziness, the confusion. It wasn't random. It was part of this. I'm not drinking anything you give me, I said firmly. For the first time, her expression changed. Not anger, not fear, but irritation. A small crack in her control. Don't be dramatic, she said. I'm not, I replied. Silence filled the room again. But this time, felt different. 'Cause something had shifted. Not in her. Me. I wasn't just reacting anymore. I was seeing, understanding, and most importantly, I was starting to fight back. I want you to leave, I said. Her eyes narrowed slightly. This is my house, I continued. And I want you out. She didn't move. You don't mean that, she said. I do. Long pause. Then she laughed softly. You really think you can just tell me to leave? She asked. Yes. She stepped closer again. And what happens when I don't? My heart pounded. But I didn't look away. Then I'll find a way to make you, I said. For a moment, we just stood there. Two people. In the same house. But completely different worlds. And in that moment, I realized something important. She wasn't unstoppable. She was just confident. And confidence can break if you push hard enough. My heart was still racing after I told her to leave. I didn't know where that courage came from. Maybe it was fear. Maybe it was desperation. Or maybe it was the realization that if I didn't stand up now, I would lose everything. Linda didn't move. She just stood there, watching me. Quiet. Well, you've changed, she said after a moment. I didn't respond. You weren't like this before, she continued. I swallowed hard. No, I said. I wasn't. And that was the truth. Before I trusted her. Before I listened. Before I didn't question anything. But now I saw her for who she really was. You should be careful, she said softly. A chill ran down my spine. Is that a threat? Yes. She tilted her head slightly. It's advice. Silence filled the room again. But this time, I didn't look away. 'Cause I knew something now. She was used to control. Used to me being weak. And the moment I stopped playing that role, she didn't know exactly what to do. I'm going out, I said suddenly. That caught her off guard. Where? She asked quickly. I shrugged slightly. Does it matter? Her eyes narrowed. It does if I'm responsible for you, she said. I almost laughed. You're not responsible for me, I said. She stepped closer. Legally I am, she replied. That word again. Legally. I nodded slowly. Then come with me, I said. She blinked. What? If you're so responsible, I continued, then you won't mind coming with me to the police station. Silence. For the first time. She didn't have an immediate answer. That hesitation. It gave me something I hadn't felt in a long time. Oh. I don't think that's necessary, she said finally. Why not? Yes. Because you're upset, she replied calmly. You're not thinking clearly. There it was again. That same tactic. But this time. Didn't work. No, I said firmly. I'm thinking very clearly. I grabbed my purse from the table. She stepped forward quickly. Margaret, she said, her voice sharper now. I froze for a second. 'Cause that was new. She never used that tone before. What? Asked. You don't want to do this, she said. And why not? Asked again. She took a deep breath, like she was trying to stay calm. Because once you go down that road, I paused. There's no coming back. My heart pounded. Good, I said. That clearly wasn't the answer she expected. I don't want to come back, I added. For a moment, she just stared at me. Then something changed. Not just a crack this time. Something deeper. Frustration. You don't understand what you're doing, she said. No, I replied. I understand exactly what I'm doing. I took a step toward the door. And I'm done being afraid of you. Her jaw tightened. You think they'll believe you, she said suddenly. Stop. Slowly turned around. What did you say? She stepped closer. You think you can just walk into a police station and tell them all this? She asked. My chest tightened. You think they'll believe that I drugged you, manipulated you, forced you to sign papers? She shook her head slightly. They'll ask for proof, Margaret. Silence. And what do you have? She added. My heart started to sink again. 'Cause she was right. I had suspicions, memories, feelings, but proof. Nothing solid. They'll look at your records, she continued. They'll see your age, your medical history. My hands clenched. And they'll see me, she said. Her voice softened again. The woman who's been taking care of you for years. The words hit hard. They'll think you're confused, she said quietly. I felt that fear creeping back in. But this time, I didn't let it take over. Because something else was stronger now. Anger. You're not as smart as you think, I said. That caught her off guard. What? She asked. I stepped closer. You made a mistake, I continued. Her eyes narrowed. What mistake? I looked straight at her. You came back. Silence. You didn't have to, I said. You already took money. You already got control. I took another step forward. But you got greedy. Her expression hardened. And greedy people make mistakes. For a moment, we just stared at each other. Then she spoke. Be very careful, Margaret. Her voice was low now. Serious. You're stepping into something you don't understand. A chill ran down my spine. But I didn't back down. Then maybe it's time I start understanding, I said. I turned back toward the door. This time, I didn't stop. My hand reached for the handle. And just as I was about to open it, she said something that froze me in place. You might want to check your bedroom first. My heart dropped instantly. Slowly, I turned around. What did you say? Yes. She didn't smile. Didn't move. Go look, she said quietly. A cold feeling spread through my chest. Because something in her voice told me this wasn't a bluff. And whatever was waiting for me upstairs was going to change everything. My hand slowly slipped off the door handle. Every instinct in me was screaming to leave, to run, to get as far away from her as possible. But her words, you might want to check your bedroom first. They pulled me back. What did you do? I asked, my voice barely steady. Linda didn't answer. She just stood there, watching me. Waiting. That silence. It was worse than anything she could have said. I turned slowly toward the stairs. Each step I took felt heavier than the last. My heart was pounding so loud I could hear it in my ears. I didn't want to go up there. I didn't want to see what she had done. But I had to. Step by step. Climb the stairs. The house felt different again. Quieter. Colder. Like it was no longer mine. When I reached the top. Stop. My bedroom door was slightly open. Small gap. Just enough to see inside. My hands started shaking. I pushed it open slowly. And then, I saw it. My breath caught instantly. Drawers. Open. Closet. Half empty. Boxes. What? I whispered. I stepped inside, looking around in disbelief. My jewelry box. Me. My important papers. Even some of my clothes. Missing. No, 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 I muttered. This wasn't just theft anymore. This was something else. Something bigger. My eyes moved to the bed. And that's when I saw it. Small envelope. Placed neatly in the center. My name written on it. Margaret. My hands trembled as I picked it up. I didn't want to open it. But I did. Inside was a single sheet of paper. I unfolded it slowly. And read. In case you decide to make things difficult. My heart started racing faster. I thought it would be best to prepare. I swallowed hard. Some of your valuables are no longer here. Tears filled my eyes. Think of it as insurance. My hands shook uncontrollably now. If you cooperate, everything stays simple. My chest tightened. If you don't, things disappear. I couldn't breathe. And trust me. I stopped for a second. Because I already knew. This wasn't going to end well. But I kept reading. You don't want to find out how much I can take. The paper slipped from my hands. I felt like the room was spinning. This wasn't just manipulation anymore. This was control. Complete control. She wasn't just threatening me. She had already started. I stumbled back slightly, trying to steady myself. And then, I noticed something else. Something I hadn't seen before. Near the dresser. Small black object. My heart skipped. I walked closer. Slowly. And then I realized what it was. Camera. My blood ran cold. No, I whispered. I looked around the room again. More carefully this time. And then I saw another one. Near the window. Hidden. Watching. Recording. A wave of nausea hit me. She's been watching me, I whispered. Not just learning my habits. Not just observing. Recording everything. Every moment. Every mistake. Every weakness. I felt violated. Exposed. Like I had no privacy left. No safety. No control. I rushed out of the bedroom. Almost tripping as I made my way downstairs. Linda was still there. Standing exactly where I left her. Waiting. You went through my things, I said, my voice shaking with anger now. She didn't deny it. I secured them, she replied calmly. You stole them. I protected them, she corrected. From what? Shouted. She looked at me for a long moment. From you, she said quietly. The words hit harder than anything else. I'm not the problem. Snap. She stepped closer. Then why is everything falling apart around you? She asked. Froze. Because for a second, just a second, doubt crept back in. But then I remembered the cameras. A letter. The empty drawers. No, I said, shaking my head. No, this is you. Her expression didn't change. You can keep telling yourself that, she said. I'm going to the police, I said again. This time, I didn't hesitate. Her eyes locked onto mine. And say what? She asked. My heart pounded. That you found a camera, she continued. That your things are missing. She shrugged slightly. You gave me control, remember? My hands clenched. That doesn't give you the right to do this. She stepped closer. Legally, she said softly. It gives me more rights than you think. Silence. But go ahead, she added. Go to the police. She smiled again. But when they ask you why you didn't notice sooner, my stomach tightened. What are you going to say? I didn't answer. Because I didn't know. And she knew that too. You've already lost, Margaret, she said quietly. My heart broke hearing that. But something inside me didn't agree. 'Cause for the first time, I wasn't just scared. I was angry. And anger does something powerful. Pushes you. Forces you. To do things you never thought you could. I'm not done yet, I said. Her smile faded slightly. And for the first time, I saw it clearly. She wasn't as calm as she pretended to be. 'Cause deep down, she knew something too. This wasn't over. Not yet. I didn't sleep that night. Not even for a second. I sat in the living room, lights off, just staring into the darkness. Replaying everything in my head. Every word. Every lie. Every moment I trusted her. And one thought kept coming back again and again. If I didn't act now, I would lose everything. But fear wasn't controlling me anymore. Not like before. Now it was something else. Clarity. 'Cause for the first time, I understood her. Linda didn't just rely on my weakness. She relied on silence. On me being afraid to speak. Afraid to act. Afraid to fight back. And that's exactly what I was about to change. The next morning, I did something she never expected. I left the house early. Before she arrived. No hesitation. No second thoughts. And I went straight to the one place I had avoided all this time. Police station. My heart was racing as I walked in. "What can I help you with, ma'am?" the officer at the desk asked. For a moment, I almost froze. Because Linda's voice echoed in my head. "They won't believe you." But then I thought about the cameras. A letter. Empty drawers. And I spoke. "I need to report something," I said. They took me into a small room. And for the next hour, I told them everything. Not just pieces. Not just what was easy. Everything. The bank. The signatures. The power of attorney. The threats. The cameras. All of it. First, they listened quietly. Asking questions. Taking notes. And I could see it in their faces. That same doubt Linda warned me about. But then, everything changed. "Do you still have the letter?" one of the officers asked. "Yes," I said quickly. I handed it over. They read it carefully. Then looked at each other. A doubt shifted. "Do you mind if we come to your house?" the officer asked. My heart skipped. "Yes," I said. "Please." We drove back together. And for the first time since all of this started, I didn't feel alone. When we walked inside, Linda was already there. Course she was. Standing in the kitchen. Collected. But the moment she saw the officers, everything changed. Just slightly. But I saw it. That flicker. "Is there a problem?" she asked, her voice controlled. The officer stepped forward. "We'd like to ask you a few questions," he said. She smiled politely. "Of course," she said. But her eyes, they weren't calm anymore. They were calculating. Watching me. Measuring what I had done. They started asking her questions. About me. About the bank. About the documents. And just like she said, she answered everything perfectly. Confident. Like she had nothing to hide. But then, they asked about the cameras. And that's when everything shifted. "What cameras?" she said. Her tone changed. Just a little. "They were found in the bedroom," the officer said. Silence. For the first time. She didn't have an answer ready. "I don't know anything about that," she said. But it wasn't convincing. Not anymore. The officers went upstairs. Checked the room. And when they came back down, everything was different. "Ma'am," one of them said to Linda, "we're going to need you to come with us." Her face changed completely. No more calm. No more control. "What?" "That's ridiculous," she snapped. But it was too late. The control she had built for years was cracking. "You have the right to remain silent," the officer began. And just like that, it was over. Or at least, the beginning of the end. As they took her away, she looked at me one last time. Not angry. Not scared. But something else. Cold. Like she wasn't done. But I was. I was done being afraid. I was done being silent. And for the first time in a long time, I felt something I thought I had lost forever. Control. It wasn't easy after that. The legal process. The investigations. The damage she had done took time to fix. Some things I never got back. But I got something more important. My life. And my voice. 'Cause the truth is, the scariest part wasn't what she did to me. It was how close I came to letting it continue. So if you take anything from my story, let it be this. Trust is powerful. But blind trust can destroy you. And sometimes, the people closest to you aren't who they pretend to be. Thank you for watching this story. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. For more stories like this, check out our channel and watch other videos. Visit our channel for more exclusive content and updates.